First at 5. From the University of Florida's College of Journalism and Communications, you're watching WUFT News.
The day we've been talking about for months, tonight's election determines who will be our next governor. We're bringing you what the candidates have shared with us as a storm of voters line up to get their last-minute ballots in.
And that's not the only storm ahead. We'll be updating you on Tropical Storm Nicole and what Floridians can do to protect themselves.
And while we wait for who will win tonight's election, Powerball finally reveals the winning numbers to the billion-dollar jackpot. Good evening and welcome to First at 5 from WUFT News. I'm Alexus Cleavenger.
And I'm Jacob Sedesse. Thank you for joining us tonight. People are still recovering from the effects of Hurricane Ian. Alexis, I'm sure you've heard by now yet another storm is coming our way.
Yes, I did, Jacob. And now is the time to start preparing for that storm. Experts are saying Tropical Storm Nicole might bring hurricane conditions to Florida. Governor Ron DeSantis declared a state of emergency in 34 counties earlier today following the storm that formed on Monday. It looks like it will be hitting the U.S. on Wednesday, and officials are warning residents about heavy surf and higher than normal tides as the storm gets closer. The National Hurricane Center says Floridians face heavy rain and destructive winds, particularly those living in Cape Canaveral, Fort Lauderdale, and West Palm Beach.
A flood of storm surge watches comes only 2 months after Hurricane Ian swept away homes throughout Florida. This threat has many Floridians asking what they can do to keep their families and properties safe from Tropical Storm Nicole. With just a few days left before the storm hits, residents are strongly encouraged to begin taking safety precautions sooner rather than later. Officials say storms like these are hard to keep track of, meaning homeowners should prepare for the absolute worst.
Make sure you have your yard picked up. There's no debris that's going to fly into other neighbors' yards. We want you to start, thinking about getting your water and your supplies, get to the grocery store, get some of those in place.
And officials are also following through with plans to protect the state from potential danger. South Florida Water Management District is lowering water levels in their canals ahead of time to prevent flooding. While it's too soon to tell exactly where the storm is headed, it's not too early to take cover. The craziest thing about this storm is how rare it is to form during this time of year. The last time the U.S. saw a November hurricane was almost 40 years ago.
Wow, and will Tropical Storm Nicole become a hurricane by the time it makes landfall? Well, WFT's Derrah joins us live now sharing when we can expect to feel the storm's impacts.
Lots of warnings and watches in effect right now. You can see our area in orange down to Orlando under a tropical storm warning. The areas in yellow under a tropical storm watch, in pink off the Jacksonville coast under a hurricane watch, and in red from Daytona Beach all the way down to Cape Canaveral under a hurricane warning through Thursday. You can see the outer bands of Tropical Storm Nicole making way inland into parts of Central Florida earlier today. This is where the storm is now, and this is where it is headed, raking land inland earlier on Thursday morning. We'll be reaching Gainesville by later Thursday night. You can see skies are mostly sunny right now. You can see a lot of cloud buildup in the distance. That's related to Tropical Storm Nicole, which can make landfall later tomorrow. Gusts up to 32 miles per hour outside right now. Over the next couple of hours, we're going to be cooling down into the upper 50s. I'll have more on that in my full forecast coming up. Back to you.
Moving on to our coverage of election 2022, we're kicking off our team coverage with local elections, and tonight Gainesville will be getting a new mayor, replacing Lauren Poe, who was elected in 2016.
City Commissioner Harvey Ward and former Gainesville Regional Utilities Manager Ed Bilarski are both hoping to secure that seat in the nonpartisan race. WUFT's Allison Williams joins us live from downtown Gainesville to give us a closer look.
There were people coming in and out of the precincts I visited earlier at the McPherson Rec Center and the Supervisor of Elections office. When I spoke with candidate Ward earlier, he seemed calm and excited for tonight. Ward was elected to serve on the City Commission in 2017 and then again in 2020. He said city elections are typically held in March, but this is the first time it's taking place in November, and he's happy to be a part of it. He told me if he's elected, he has several plans to improve the city. like updating Citizens Field and adding a health center on Hawthorne Road. But he said his first matter of business is repairing the trust with the public.
Rebuilding the public trust and making sure that folks know that at City Hall we really care about what's happening in all the neighborhoods, and we're there to support neighbors and neighborhoods, and just repairing that public trust is job one for me.
He said in this election especially, some people have gained relevancy by separating elected officials and the people in the community. Ward will be watching as the results come in here at the Heartwood Soundstage in downtown Gainesville. He told me that tonight he intends to win. Allison Williams, WUFT News.
Thanks, Allison. Running against Ward in the nonpartisan mayoral race is the former Gainesville Regional Utilities Manager, Ed Bolarski. WUFT's Fareeha Abrar is covering the Bolarski campaign and joins us from Depot Village.
Enlightening is the word Ed Bolarski used to describe the last 9 months of his campaign for Gainesville mayor. This morning we spoke here at Depot Village, where his watch party will be tonight. He told me he has a melancholy feeling about the campaign coming to an end, but also feels excited for what the results of the election could bring. As he spoke to local members of the community about their concerns, Bolarski says he's learned about more issues that kept his neighbors pressed, which are included in his goals to reduce the general fund transfer rate the city commission takes from GRU and to overturn the elimination of single-family zones, enabling the construction of multiplexes.
We don't want to be told we know better than you. We want to be involved. We want to be able to discuss it. When you have a whole community that comes out and says, listen, this is not the right way to go, we have an expectation of our leaders to say, we hear you. We will back down. We will stand down. And they didn't do it. I think that's the obligation there.
Bolarski has been dubbed as a conservative candidate for accepting PAC money from Republicans, but he has no party affiliation and has also received donations and endorsements from Democrats as well. The last thing he told me is he's ready to party with the supporters tonight here at Depot Village after polls close at 7 p.m. Reporting from downtown Gainesville, Fareeha Abrar for WUFT News.
In the race for U.S. Senate, Republican candidate Marco Rubio. One of our reporters is down south in Miami attending Rubio's watch party. Chris Will joins us live from the Hilton Miami Airport. Chris, many of our viewers are curious about Rubio's chances of winning against Democratic opponent Val Demings. What are experts saying?
Yeah, Jacob, experts seem to be leaning in the direction of the incumbent Senator Marco Rubio on this one. While experts consider Val Demings to be an ideal candidate for the Democratic Party in the state of Florida, they also say that Marco Rubio is the perfect candidate for Republicans in the state. For Democrats to be successful this election, analysts say they need to dominate South Florida and take a large percentage of the Hispanic voting bloc. Marco Rubio fits into both. Rubio is not only a resident of Miami-Dade, but also a child of Cuban-American immigrants. He's been in office since 2010 as a senator and now looks to secure his third term here on election night. Reporting live from Miami, Chris Will, WUFT News.
Running against Rubio is Democratic candidate Val Demings. The U.S. Representatives' watch party is taking place in Orlando. WUFT's Kennedy Mason joins us from Rosen Center Theater.
I'm here at Congresswoman Val Demings' watch party. Democratic candidate was Orlando's first female police chief, and she would be Florida's first black senator if to win tonight. She has been stopping at major cities across the state of Florida, and she wants everyone to get to those polls and vote tonight. Now, we are not sure what time she will arrive, but she has said she will not make any remark until the polls close. Reporting in Orlando, Florida, Kennedy Mason, WUFT News.
Former President Donald Trump and First Lady Melania voted together this morning. The former president and perhaps future candidate for president said he's planning a big announcement 1 week from today. Trump also said Republicans need to save the country and that he did vote for Ron DeSantis in the governor's race. DeSantis is holding a watch party in Tampa tonight, and our Ashley Weinstein is there now.
Reporting from the Tampa Convention Center in downtown Tampa, this is where Ron DeSantis and his team will have a live watch party as the polls close later this evening and results begin to roll in. Now, we have footage of earlier today, former President Donald Trump giving his approval to incumbent Ron DeSantis, saying that he cast his vote for him today. And according to the Greater Miami Chamber of Commerce, a statewide percentage poll shows that 64% of Florida voters approve of the job DeSantis is doing. We'll be giving periodic live updates from here at the Convention Center in downtown Tampa as these results roll in. Reporting from the Tampa Convention Center, Ashley Weinstein, WUFT News.
The Democrat in the governor's race, Charlie Crist, is back home in St. Pete and spoke to supporters this morning.
Charlie! 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 Charlie!
The former Republican governor turned Democratic Party congressman resigned his seat in August to focus on this campaign. Today, he said he cares about reproductive rights and is fighting to protect them.
Yeah, people are voting. They're voting like crazy. They're voting like their life depends on it, like a woman's right to choose depends upon it. Yeah, that's what's going on in Miami-Dade today, and I can't wait to see the results tonight.
Chris says this is an opportunity for Democrats to stand up for their values. Charlie Crist's campaign is gearing up for tonight's results as Election Day voting comes to a close. WUFT's Caitlin Wojulak reports from St. Petersburg at Crist's watch party, where the Democrat hopes to be Florida's 47th governor.
Behind me at St. Petersburg Carolyn Park is where Charlie Crist is expected to appear later tonight at his election night event. Doors aren't open to the public until 6:30 p.m. tonight. There was a brief shower here earlier with some dark clouds. If the weather has anything to do with today, it could be a rocky night for Democrats. As of 4 p.m., registered Republicans are turning out at the polls by more than 800,000 people compared to Democrats. Here in Pinellas County, where Crist's campaign is, Republicans are leading by more than 20,000 people. We'll see how those numbers look over the next couple of hours. Reporting from St. Petersburg, Caitlin Wojulak, WUFT News.
Now, mayoral and gubernatorial candidates won't be the only winners tonight.
That's right, Alexus. Powerball released the lucky numbers today, revealing who will be taking home the billion-dollar jackpot. Where is the winning ticket and what are players mad about? We'll be answering these questions as soon as we get back.
You're watching WUFT TV News.
Welcome back. Jacob, what would you do with $1 billion?
I'm sorry to admit it, Alexis. I think I'd be out with a fancy home in Los Angeles working on some films and shows. What about you?
I don't blame you, yeah. You know, I think I'd still be doing what I love, which is telling your stories, but I definitely would want to travel. Now, one lucky person out there in California just won the Powerball jackpot, but players are frustrated with a problem that delayed the results. Nick Giovanni has more from Boston.
Powerball players woke up Tuesday morning asking one question.
So we can't get our results till when?
With the jackpot officially topping $2 billion. Monday night's drawing was delayed over what Powerball said was one participating lottery that needed more time to process its sales and play data.
I'm not happy with that. I could be at home right now with a ticket instead of at work today.
And with $1.9 billion, they should have their systems all set up. So there shouldn't have been a single issue.
And if you went to check the Powerball's website for the winning numbers, this is the screen you would see no matter how many times you hit refresh. It read simply, results pending. A statement issued by the Multi-State Lottery Association Tuesday morning read in part, like the rest of America, Powerball is eager to hold its drawing for the world record jackpot. However, protecting the integrity of the draw is of utmost importance, even if that means a further delay.
The length of time is unprecedented. Stuff like this does happen. This happened last month when the jackpot was at $500 million, but that delay was a much shorter window of less than an hour.
This delay ultimately lasted more than 10 hours before the numbers were in and the wait was over. Interim Executive Director of the Massachusetts State Lottery, Mark William Bracken, says the system was working, just at a slower pace than most would like.
So I know a lot of people are frustrated right now, but this is honestly to secure the integrity of the game, to make sure that nothing wild or weird is happening.
Reporting in Boston, Nick Giovanni, WBZ News.
I don't know about you, Alexis, but I've been loving how cool and breezy it's been feeling outside lately.
I know those cooler temperatures have been nice, but I'm not ready for another potential hurricane to make landfall in Florida. WFT's Derrah Getter is here to tell us more about Tropical Storm Nicole. Derrah, how's it looking?
Well, we're not going to be seeing those effects until later Wednesday night into early Thursday morning. All time out when the rain arrives, coming up next on WUFT News, first at 5.
You're watching WUFT-TV News.
Lots of warnings and watches in effect right now in our area in orange all the way down to Orlando under a tropical storm warning. The areas in yellow under a tropical storm watch, in pink off the Jacksonville coast under a hurricane watch, and in red from Daytona Beach down to Cape Canaveral under a hurricane warning. All of these warnings and watches are issued through Thursday. You can see the outer bands of Tropical Storm Nicole continuing to make landfall into parts of central Florida, but it looks like we're going to continue to stay dry here in Gainesville through the rest of tonight as well as tomorrow. That rain's not going to start making impact here until late tomorrow night. Mostly cloudy skies out. It feels like 73 and gusts already feeling the impacts from Tropical Storm Nicole. Gust up to 32 miles per hour right now. Tropical storm winds start at 39 miles per hour. Right now we're at 26 miles per hour in Gainesville, and along the East Coast almost 30. Over the next couple of hours we're going to be cooling down into temperatures in the upper 50s tonight and tomorrow. You can see bands from Tropical Storm Nicole continuing to make their way further inland, not reaching Gainesville until late tomorrow night. Mostly cloudy skies Wednesday morning, windy and cloudy day ahead tomorrow on Wednesday, and rain and thunderstorm chances increase the closer we get to nightfall tomorrow. Here is where the storm is right now, moving west at 10 miles per hour with winds up to 65 miles per hour, making landfall in central Florida early Thursday morning and passing our area by Thursday night before it continues to move further north into parts of Canada. You can see the first bands that we're going to be seeing here in Gainesville popping up early Thursday morning. You're in for a wet commute. You can see heavier dark shading here in red is going to pose a higher risk for tornadoes to develop, and the rest of the day as those bands continue to swirl out of our area, we'll be staying mostly dry. The rest of this week, rain chances very high on Thursday as that tropical storm makes landfall. Temperatures much cooler than what we've been seeing in the 70s and 60s this weekend. Back to you.
Thanks, Derrah. Coming up next, we bring you the latest from the hardwood as Florida men and women's basketball started their seasons yesterday.
We'll have the highlights when we get back.
You're watching WUFT-TV News.
Welcome to sports. I'm DJ McCathran. We're not talking about election results in sports, but both men and women's basketball opened up their campaigns last night for the University of Florida. The women's laced up first as they hosted Florida A&M. They had 4 players in double-digit scoring, and it was Leilani Correa that led the team with a career-high 18 points. The Rattlers kept it within 11 points going into the fourth quarter, but the Gators pulled away, outscoring them 24-7 in the final 10 minutes. The Gators won 83-55. Men's basketball played next as they hosted Stony Brook, and the golden era is officially underway. The LSU transfer Alex Fudge made a big impact in his first start for the Gators as he had a team-high 16 points. Will Richard, another transfer, added 14 points, 3 rebounds, and 2 steals to the victory. Head coach Todd Golden spoke about the small things his team did to win.
We dominated the paint, did a really good job on the glass, and we did a great job taking care of the ball. You know, those are the areas that don't require a lot of talent. You know, it's more about being physical and having will and desire to go get it. And again, like that's what I'm, you know, my initial takeaway is really pleased in the second half where by 30 your guys are still trying to play the right way. You know, we don't have guys going out there trying to get their baskets, you know, being lazy defensively, trying to shoot lanes. Gambling, putting other guys in bad positions. We played really solidly for 40 minutes.
The Gators football team snapped a 2-game losing streak after defeating Texas A&M this past weekend. They now look ahead to South Carolina, and the team is on the cusp of bowl eligibility. Florida head coach Billy Napier had a lot to say about his team's improvement in Saturday's game.
I thought we played physical in the game. I think when you look at the tape, I think you see that. It's third week in a row we haven't turned the ball over, which I think is a little bit more of who we want to be. For the defense to respond at halftime and go shut them out in the second half, I thought was positive. We had 156-yard advantage in the special teams hidden yards there, which was huge in the game. And certainly had some guys step up, right? Some guys that maybe got their first opportunity. So
this second college football playoff poll comes out tonight, and after a wild weekend of sports, the top 4 is bound to look a little different. After beating Tennessee, Georgia will likely be the new #1 team in the country. A few other teams that could be in the mix for the top 4 are Ohio State after their close win against Northwestern, Michigan as they won on the road against Rutgers, and TCU could slide in there after their win against Texas Tech. They are the last 4 undefeated teams left in college football. That's all for sports. Now back to Jacob and Alexus.
Thanks, DJ. Before we go, let's have one last check on the weather from Derrah.
We're going to continue feeling the impacts of the wind Tropical Storm Nicole is bringing. Mostly cloudy skies overnight tonight, and we're going to be cooling down tonight. Our high tomorrow is 70. The rest of this week, we're going to see much cooler temperatures than what we've been seeing lately as that tropical storm makes landfall on Thursday. We'll be seeing temperatures in the 60s this weekend. Back to you.
Thanks, Derrah. BBC World News is next, and the PBS NewsHour is coming up at 7.
But remember, your Florida news is always on at WUFT.org. And if you're in line, stay in line. Have a good night.